Glad you're back with us at the Daytona International Speedway. NASCAR Preseason Thunder Fan Fest 2009. Just spectacular weather here. We love palm trees, and we're even more excited because it means Speed Weeks 2009 is just around the corner. We just had Matt Kenseth from Roush Fenway. Now we're joined by Eric Darnell and Colin Braun.
Now, Colin, when I think about you, I think about road racing, and rightly so. At age 16, which wasn't that many years ago, I might add, in the Grand Am Series, the 24 Hours of Daytona, you actually finished 7th in your class. You're going to be back here next week in the 24-hour race again, I'm hearing.
Well, I'm excited to be back driving for Michael Shank Racing. We got a Ford-powered car, and came down here a couple weeks ago and tested. Went really well, so it's going to be a good race for us, I hope.
Hey, Eric, I got to ask you, I think I raced with was it your grandfather?
Grandfather.
I was going to say your dad, but then I thought maybe.
He's depressed now.
How did you learn a lot? Because he ran a lot of USAC races and a lot of ARCA races. And did you ever come to Daytona with him?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was actually down here. I guess it was 2 months old. I'm born December 2nd. I was down here 1983 in the back of a van in a box. My grandfather owned a car.
In a box. He said box.
Toolbox. It's a toolbox.
My grandfather owned a car, I think, that was running in the 500 that year. So I've been coming down here since I was a real little kid.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's,
so.
Your grandfather was really a cool guy. And did he ever win the championship? I think he did, didn't he?
No, I think he finished second and third in points. He never ended up winning a championship. He won quite a few races, but never quite got that championship.
I bet Iggy Katona probably took him out somewhere.
He said 83, right?
83, yeah.
83 was that year. You don't remember real well, do you? That's when you kind of knocked the
inside
wall here and an outside wall.
I thought I was going to leave here in a box that year. Not at that box either.
Guys, what I want to know is, working within a Roush Fenway organization and being young drivers like you are, who's the go-to guy there? I mean, you got Matt Kenseth, got Jamie McMurray, David Reagan. I mean, do you guys get an opportunity to share ideas, or do you draw from somebody's experience over there?
Well, for me, David Reagan's the guy I go to a lot. He's been through exactly what I'm going through just a couple years ago, so he's got a lot of good pointers and advice that he can give me. And, Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle, those two guys have been a huge help for me as well. So it's great just having all those guys to be able to go to, especially with my road course background, be able to ask those guys questions. My own teammate, Eric Darnell, he's been a huge help as well. So.
How about you?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Carl and Greg. Those guys both came through Roush Fenway's Truck Series program, so they kind of knew what the deal was. They helped me out quite a bit when I was first coming up through this deal, and they both went on to the Nationwide Series, which is what I'm going to be doing this coming year. I'll be running a part-time deal, splitting the schedule with David Reagan in the number 6 Ford Fusion. So really everybody at their organization has been very helpful. We got a lot of veteran drivers over there, guys who run in the Cup Series who run very well, and they've been able to help out us younger drivers quite a bit.
So you'll be in the Discount Tire part of the time with him?
David's going to be running 20 races in the Discount Tire Ford Fusion, and my sponsor, Northern Tool and Equipment from the Truck Series, is actually going to move up, and I'm going to run 15 races with those guys. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a great year.
And Colin, how about your plans for 2009?
Well, I'm going to be back driving the truck again with Conway Freight coming back as our sponsor. We've got Ford Motor Company coming back to sponsor us as well. So got two great companies behind us, and driving for Jack Roush is quite an honor. So it's going to be a good season.
Now, Eric, Darrell mentioned your granddad, but now your dad, he may have, I don't know if he ever drove a race car, but he was an engineer for race teams, right?
Well, no, my dad owned a welding and fabrication shop. He was never really an engineer, but he was a racer himself. Raced ASA in the early '90s. I know he raced against Johnny Benson and some of those guys when they were coming up doing it. And he's been around the sport. And if it wasn't for him helping me out with all the hard work he puts into it, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But he was around it with my grandfather, and because of those two guys, that's why I'm sitting here right now.
Guys, when I look at you guys, you're two young guys, and what is it? What's it like when you're out there on the racetrack and there are people around you that you know that have more experience than you do and have won races and championships? Are you intimidated at all? I mean, is there ever that factor in there where you say, whoa, I better not do this or I better not do that?
Have you ever raced against Ron Hornaday?
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, he's spun me out plenty of times.
Yeah,
no respect.
No, Ron's a great guy, but I think for young guys like myself and Colin coming into the series, getting to race against Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, Jack Sprague, guys who've been to the Cup Series and back, I think it's helped us out quite a bit. I wouldn't necessarily say I feel intimidated, but those guys have got a lot of experience doing what they do, and the good thing about it is they're more than willing to help you out in the garage because they want to see you do good. They don't want you out there wrecking them at the same time. So it's been a very good experience coming up through the truck deal.
So they mess with you the same way they would mess with a veteran, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah, right.
For me, I remember being a little kid watching those guys race on TV when I was 3 or 4 or 5. So it's pretty wild, go out there actually racing door to door with them as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I just always think about what it'd be like to be, oh my gosh, that's Ron Hornaday, or that's, I don't want to mess him up.
I don't think he ever watched you race, though.
No, my crew chiefs told me stories about it, though.
Good job. Nice parting shot.